God drilled him. But the fact of the matter is, what I believe is that Job was not ready for the answer. Job lived in another time. Remember, Daniel said, in the last days knowledge shall increase, men shall go to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. And we live in a time of what? Increased knowledge, CSI, criminal minds, house. So we live in a time of increased knowledge. So what was okay back then is not okay now. Because the scripture teaches us that to whom much is given is much required. Okay? And we can examine a lot of things and we can understand a lot more today than they could back then. Okay? So now, why did people say that Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible? I want you to read why people said that. Okay? I want you to go to Exodus 24 and 4. Next time I try to have a PowerPoint, make this a lot easier.
I got to bring that.
24:4.
Yes.
Let me try again.
Okay.
And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord and rose up early in the morning and builded an altar under the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel.
All right. So Moses did what? He wrote what?
That's what it says. He wrote all the words.
Okay.
Says he wrote all the words of the Lord.
Okay.
It says,
That's what it says, but what does it pertain to? That's the question. Okay. Does that mean he wrote the first 5 books?
No.
Or does that mean that
He don't say the first 5 books. He just said he wrote all the words of the Lord.
Okay. And when it's talking there, it's talking pertaining to what's in the previous few chapters. We have the 10 Commandments, and we have different laws, and that's what Moses wrote down. But Hebrew theologians and a lot of Christian theologians, they go to that and say, see, that's proof that Moses wrote the first 5 books.
no. It didn't say that.
It didn't say that. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. As a matter of fact, we're going to go to something else in just a little bit. And if we look at Deuteronomy 31:9, we look at Deuteronomy 31:9.
And Moses wrote this law and delivered it unto the priests, the sons of Levi, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and unto all the elders of Israel.
Okay. So he wrote all this law. So definitely we know he wrote the law. Okay. I don't think he wrote the book of Genesis. I don't think he wrote
He couldn't have wrote Genesis. There wasn't nobody on the earth but God.
Well, we're going to find out something very interesting. We're going to find out something very interesting. Because you ask Hebrew theologians, they will tell you Moses wrote the first 5 books. 90%, maybe 95% of theologians will tell you Moses wrote the first 5 books. They will insist that Moses wrote the first 5 books, and they won't address the questions that we dealt with tonight. Okay? Now,
Yeah, but too, that Moses wrote the first 5 books, but it also goes back to what you said about the plagiarism, because the first 5 books of the Bible is so much like the Babylonian account. I mean, it's almost identical from Adam and Eve. It is so close, and they have seen through archaeology that perhaps that a lot of the first 5 books of the Bible did come from another account that was kind of like mixed in there.
Well, there are some people that would totally disagree with that.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who will not.
Okay, but let's go to the book. Let's go to the source. Let's go to the Bible. Okay? Because in the theological community, views are starting to change. They realize that the Bible wasn't started from an oral tradition. They realized that it was not plagiarized from Babylonians, epics from Mesopotamia. Okay. And they make a very interesting statement. A statement found in Genesis 5:1. Now, if I said this among just about anybody else, they would swear I was a nut.
This is a book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made him.
So read that again.
This
is the book
of the generations of
Adam.
In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him.
What's that telling you?
That Moses didn't write Genesis.
That what? That there was a book.
I don't think Moses was there when this was written.
No,
because that's when Genesis generation, so no.
But, okay. But if Moses was not there, Moses was not born then, how can he have written this?
He didn't.
Okay, and I'm not saying Moses wrote this. Okay,
I know you're not.
but a lot of people are. But then that brings about another question. When did the writing begin?
In the beginning was the Word. And the Word was God. The Word was with God. Maybe God wrote it.
Well, you know, when we look at this, and we see that there is a book there in Genesis 5:1, and except for the 10 Commandments, the rest of the Bible, God used men to write. So I suppose that the first writer was actually Adam. Now the thing is, you know, did he come in the world writing?
We don't know.
That's what I'm about to say. We don't know, because he came in as a biologist, and God said, "Name all the animals."
Right.
Okay, gorilla.
He also made a mate for him, and he was not a baby.
Right. I was just about to say that he was not a baby. He was a full-grown man.
Yeah. So there's a possibility. You see what I'm saying? There's a possibility that actually the first writing began with Adam. So that brings about an interesting point.
How did he finish off Genesis? Because he did die. So then we get Noah, and then we get everybody else. So someone had to
you see what I'm saying? And that was the reason there was such a big deal between Cain and Abel. You see, because there was someone, I believe, that was appointed to carry on the tradition of